So thank you all for joining. Thank you, Maharaj, for continuing this katha on the first canto. So if you're not aware, His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami is broadcasting live from New Jersey, ISKCON of New Jersey, Towaco. So and Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Maharaj, for continuing this katha on the first canto. That's yeah, sorry, that was my YouTube live. So this is also on YouTube live, by the way, so more devotees can watch. And Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami speaking on this channel, and then at the end of the class we'll announce all the upcoming other speakers. So today we'll be on Canto 1, Chapter 18. We'll continue, and we're on verse number 46. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastrite Shatarane. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before we move ahead with the coming verses, I wanted to revisit a question that came up at the end of our previous class. The question was asked, how would a Krishna conscious king deal with the coronavirus? And I wanted to revisit that because it really touches upon or gives us the opportunity to look at themes that run throughout this narration of the Parikshit Maharaj's encounter with Kali, then his being cursed, and so on. What I'd said at last time was that the king would, if Krishna conscious, would have prevented the coronavirus, because the coronavirus is a reaction to sinful activities. It's the cause of trouble, but it's also the result of trouble that we've given to other living entities, trouble that we've caused by violating the laws of nature, and therefore trouble that we're causing to our own bodies and minds by having caused similar trouble to others. A theme that, if we look at the previous chapter, when Kali tried to enter the kingdom, Parikshit Maharaj dealt very strongly with him. No pussyfooting. A Kshatriya knows what is what, he's trained, he knows what dharma is, he knows what a dharma is, and he's not fooled by seeing Kali dressed up like a king. He knows this man's a rogue. This man's a rogue. Beating an innocent cow or bull, this is the sign of a rogue. So he didn't hesitate. At once he challenged this personified Kali. You're a rogue, and I'll kill you now. This kind of thing has never gone on in my in the kingdom of my forefathers. It's not going to go on in my kingdom. I have to kill you at once. It's my duty to give protection to all the citizens, and that includes the cow and the bull. Prabhupada, in the next chapter, he'll bring out the theme that the king is meant to protect, or the society is meant to protect the cows and Brahminical culture and or these three values: the cows, Brahminical culture, and God consciousness. This is what society depends on, civilized life depends on. Uh, there has to be proper economic development. Proper economic development doesn't mean when can we open the bars again? When can the airplanes start flying again? Proper economic development means how are we taking care of the land? How are we taking care of the cows? Are we growing sufficient food grains to feed the citizens? Are we taking care of the earth? Uh, these are the duties of the Vaishya, and it's the king's duty to see that these uh, principles are being followed. That the Vaishyas are doing, the king's duty is to see that the Vaishyas are doing their duty. That they're protecting the land, they're protecting the cows, and they're productive. They're producing the real need of human society, especially grains and milk products. Uh, that's the first thing. And no question of allowing the cows to be killed. First of all, because uh, they, they're dear to Krishna. They're practically the representatives of Brahminical culture. They're giving milk, ghee, butter, uh, yogurt, everything. Prabhupada said, what is this barbarian civilization where you come up, you imagine a thief comes up to you and says, give me your money or I slit your throat. And you say, all right, take my money. He says, no, let me slit your throat anyway. The cow is giving milk, everything, and let me slit your throat. And not only, it's not like some stranger, plundering from a stranger. The cow is the mother of human society. The cow is the mother of human society. The cow is to be protected. The cow is to be cared for. This is essential. And instead, their wholesale slaughter of millions and millions and millions of cows and other animals who are citizens. They're born in the state. They have a right to protection. So the king would see to it, a Krishna conscious king would see to it, that the cows are protected, the land is made productive, not that for these false industries, the slaughter industry, the chemical industry, which is another discussion, they're programmed for poisoning the earth with their chemical advancements. That for the satisfaction of these industries, we have to promote viciousness, ecological disaster, economic falsity. We need to protect the land and the cows, which are our real assets, and see to their happiness and productivity. That's the first thing. So the cows protected. And so no animal killing, no intoxication. Your intoxicated life is spoiling the life of your citizens. No intoxication. Prabhupada said, we're already intoxicated enough. But you want to have alcohol, tobacco. Tobacco, what is the need? Just another false industry that we have to maintain. And a weed, no less, that depletes the land. Instead of growing grains, we grow weeds. And that also to cause cancer and lung disease and suck out the life of, even from the economic point of view, suck out the life of the money of the state. So intoxicants stopped. Cow killing stopped. The illicit sex as an industry stopped. In the Krishna conscious, even that was a nice thing in I understand in Russia. The communists, of course, we don't very much appreciate the communist form of government, but when the communists were in charge, no pornography. They just had no space for it. No space for it. Then when the communism, the Soviet government fell, and then more democratic values came in, and along with that, Moscow was flooded with pornography, where it hadn't been there before. So that should be, the government should see to that also, not this vicious, we're enjoying Zoom, but half the internet is financed and running on pornography. That should not be tolerated by a Krishna conscious leadership. Illicit sex and gambling, your casinos, your racetracks, and casino means everything. Illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, intoxication. And these things are being promoted by state governments, by so many vested interests to spoil the life of the citizens. Even when there's no coronavirus, these things are like viruses, spoiling the lives of the citizens. When the citizens aren't being killed by coronavirus, they're being killed by diseases caused by your intoxicants, by your meat eating. And these are the, we've talked about direct reactions. And then there's, the karmic burden. You're killing the cows wholesale, then it comes back on you. In the form of war, in the form of disasters. We think that we can just do anything and everything. It's our world. And, just carry on. No. Nature has the upper hand. We can try to exploit, but nature will retaliate strongly. Either you suffer now or you suffer in your next life as a miserable dog. But you can't do these things and be happy. Cow protection, then Brahminical culture, culture of knowledge, culture of God consciousness, culture of spiritual understanding. Even if your government is supposed to be secular in the way we use the term in America, meaning impartial to any religious denomination, still these principles of godly life have to be promoted. Why demonic life? Intoxicants, gambling, meat eating, illicit sex, this is all demonic life. The government's duty is to promote godly life. It doesn't have to be godly life according to this religion, that religion, godly life. Cleanliness, austerity, truthfulness, mercy. God-conscious king stands for these things, not for corruption and bribe-taking and protecting the interests of vicious industries. So Brahminical culture, cow protection, Brahminical culture, and God consciousness. Therefore, we find in earlier verses, Prabhupada was talking about the duty of the government to vigorously spread the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, the glories of the Lord. We don't care that this is not sanctioned by the democratic history of the United States of America or something. Doesn't have to be ISKCON, it doesn't have to be in limited to a particular name. Nam Nam Kori Bahuda, Bahuda, Nija Sarvasha. All God's potencies are present in the holy name. So why do you want to have a society where God consciousness is pushed to the side and all of your vices are the bedrock of human society? God consciousness should be vigorously promoted. And for that, especially, God has so many names. Chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be promoted. These are some of the duties or positive actions that the chief executive of the state should take and would take if he were Krishna conscious instead of being a rogue. And there's so many. I'm not picking on this one or that one. All rogues, dasu prayeshu, just plunderers and rogues. So the rogues should be in a Krishna conscious, dressed as a king. Kali, all the principles of irreligion, but somehow given the honor of being a king, prime minister, president, head of state, and a rogue. So the rogue should be challenged, driven out, and the right person should. Therefore, Kurukshetra was fought. Why? To drive out the rogues and put in the God-conscious persons who are actually the well-wishers of the citizens, not sucking out the life of the citizens by this way or that way, actually feeling like responsible, trained to see to the welfare of all the citizens in the state. So we'll find these themes running throughout these chapters. You can't expect to have a vicious, materialistic, exploitive way of life with a chief executive of viciousness, exploitation, and material consciousness, and have a happy society, untroubled by disease, untroubled. No, it will not be possible. But in the government, we find that when Parikshit Maharaj was there, Sarvakama Dugamahi, the earth was abundantly giving, the cow was muddying the pasture with milk. People were happy. People were happy. Even now, your New York City, part of your viral problem is all these people packed up together in one passionate place. Bring back a simple life, agrarian life, life based on the real necessities, not on false industries, propped up by money sucked out of the citizens. But give them back the real values of Brahminical culture, protection of the land and dependence on the land and the cow, and God consciousness. So these are some of the themes that we see in these chapters. Would anyone like to add or say something to that?
Yes, I think, Mark, there's some comments on the chat.
Some comments on the chat. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that, a long comment. Okay. I just read an article in Nepal, how in Nepal the cow slaughter is banned, but it affects the economics. Many cows, but not much milk, because the old cows who don't give milk are not being slaughtered. So what is done is that they use buffaloes for milk and meat. In Nepal, they are mostly Hindus, so-called, but for devotees, I think killing buffalo is not a good solution. No, it's not a good solution. Just not killing the cows may not be enough. I mean, if people stop killing cows right now, what will happen with all these cows? Let's see, expanding this chat box, who are raised for being slaughtered. There's no place for them and no use for them. So what I mean to ask, what is the immediate solution? Whoa, this chat box thing is a little strange. It jumps when you're trying to read it. So what I mean to ask, what is the immediate solution? I don't think anybody can stop killing animals right now in 1 second. And if they do, it will lead to some other problems. I mean, how can killing of animals be stopped gradually, apart from just closing the slaughterhouses and that's it? Well, that requires expert management. Um, the If we think about it, the hmm, first of all, promote the value in the citizens. I'm not going to eat this rubbish. I'm not going to eat dead bodies. Let the slaughter industry sweat. Uh, Already there's a movement for shunning these products, and that should be vigorously uh, promoted by the leadership. That you don't want this rubbish, not rubbish. Rubbish is you don't want this product of vicious uh, killing. Uh, all right, some people will insist, but let it be. Just like smoking. It used to be the national habit. Everybody smoked. Now people are still smoking, but they're pariahs. You go to the airport, you want to smoke, they put you in a glass room with it looks like a goldfish bowl or something, or like a cage at a zoo, and you get together with a few other zoo animals and blow smoke around in the room, and everybody else knows that these people are, they're just in the wrong space. They just don't get it. Not that smoking is cool. It's stupid. So people should know, educate the citizens that this is vicious, this is wrong, this is as honest doctors and scientists will tell you, it's unhealthy, uh, leads to disease of every kind. My sister had an encounter with breast cancer, and like one of the first things the doctors told her, no meat. But why do they have to wait till then? Why do they have to wait till then? Uh, it's bad for you. Simple as that. It's bad for you. It's bad for the environment, and there's so many books on that. It's vicious to the animals. It causes so much pain and suffering. So first thing, educate the citizens. Uh, if I were thinking about it. Second thing, you cannot advertise this anywhere for any reason under any circumstance. If you're going to sell these things because we're winding it down, we're not going to stop it on a dime, fine. But you cannot advertise your vicious diet anywhere. We don't care whether whether how many millions you've served. It all goes down. It all goes down. You cannot advertise anything. Not that you murder our citizens and then boast about how many of them you've killed, how many people you've served with their flesh. No, you cannot do that. You can cater to the audience of fools who don't heed the warnings and who insist, yes, we're going to find this place and go there. But as far as advertising it, glorifying it, making it look happy, all the nice little cows running around and smiling, and little chickens, they're so happy to be on your plate. No, you cannot do any of that. You cannot do any of that. Then, step by step by step, then we see, all right, they've bred these cattle for these cows for slaughter. You can't do that anymore. No more breeding animals for meat. No more hormones and this and that and the other thing. All stopped. We know we can't stop it on a dime, but we'll stop it on $10, and then down to 5, down to 1, down to nothing. It's not that these things are necessities. It's not that without McDonald's, America would collapse. Hari Kirtan says, it's a short comment, so I see it. If you want to get rid of something, take the profit out of it, eliminate the demand, and the supply will disappear by itself. Yes, educate the people. Have not only educate, but the same advertising companies who'll go out of business if they're not allowed to advertise liquor and meat. All right, engage them. You advertise the real thing, that this is murder. It's murder of other creatures. It's murder on your own health. You make it as uncool as you possibly can. Engage them. They need to be engaged. They've learned how to advertise. All right, advertise this. Advertise the spreading of God consciousness instead of your vicious agenda. As devotees, we know, Vasudev says, our present socioeconomic structure is bound to fail due to all the vices you mentioned. Yes, it will. Yeah, the basis of your society is unnecessary necessities, and then when there's a collapse, you want to build it up again, and false money. I saw someplace in the last week or so that there was some concern now that I forget who was expressing it, that in the economic mess that's following on from coronavirus, the money supply of various countries, what will the governments do? They have to, their economies have been assaulted by this virus, brought to their knees. What are you going to do? And they said they'll print money. They'll print more money. So we didn't have money because the economy went down, so we'll print more. So then you get, again, a false basis of society, and you're trying to juggle the need for money with the natural, what's the word, emptiness of your inflated currency. And somehow or other, you have to try to do this magic act to keep it all together. No, your real wealth is your land. Your real wealth is the cow, the land, the grains, the fruits, the vegetables. Bring it back. Even you'll bring back your fresh air. These people are commenting all over the place that, my goodness, we're seeing blue skies in Delhi. We're seeing blue skies in, these industrial. Yes. What is the benefit? And the coronavirus is promoted by polluted air. Bring back the air. Bring back the land. Bring back the water. These are your necessities. What kind of kingdom is this where the water is polluted, where the air is unbreathable, where the animals are killed, where the land is poisoned, where the women are exploited, where intoxicants are sold everywhere, where gambling is the state industry? This must be challenged and stopped step by step by step by step. Let those who are intelligent, those who are managers and who are God conscious, come forward and unite to stop these things. As devotees, we know our present socioeconomic structure is bound to fail due to all the vices you mentioned. Srila Prabhupada also instructed it is necessary to create an alternative and instructed us how to do it. But most of us are not interested or not able to live in a rural, more simple life. But should we start moving towards Srila Prabhupada's ideal or wait till we are eventually forced to? That's up to you. That's up to you. But it's practical, that this is happy life. This is real life, not this falsity. So we may be forced to, and then, all right, let me go. or we may be forward-looking. If we were, yes, I mean, it's a theoretical quit. But even those who are householders, and Prabhupada very much had householders in mind when he was talking about uh, agricultural life. You know, the as an alternative to living in cities and by professions that are ultimately of no use, and a way of life which is passionate and ignorant. Learn to live this way, simple living. Hare Krishna. I read recently that in ancient Vedic culture, cows were regularly slaughtered for ritualistic sacrifice, as well as Brahmins were encouraged to eat the meat after sacrifice, and it was offered to guests and on special occasions, etc. This really troubled me, perhaps the inconsistency in the Vedic tradition. Well, I don't know where you've been reading, but yes, the cow there's Gomeda Yagya, where the cow was slaughtered. There was a yagya, a sacrifice, the cow was slaughtered, and then the cow was brought back to life by the chanting of the qualified Brahmins. That was the uh, Gomeda Yagya, not slaughterhouses. As you said, the ritualistic sacrifice of cows. Yes, the bull could be killed and then brought back to life by the qualified Brahmins. Uh, but Ashramedha, what is it, Gavalambhyam, in the Kali Yuga, this is forbidden because where are the Brahmins? Where are the sacrifices even? There's hardly a, it's gone. This can't be done anymore. If we can get the Brahmins to stop smoking in Kali Yuga, we're moving ahead. Prabhupada told that story that at Radha Damodar, when he came with his Western disciples, I guess he was staying there and about, and Shamsundar and Malati were there with little Saraswati, and Saraswati was seeing Gorchan Goswami, I think his name was, the pujari there, and old man, and said, Mata, this man is smoking. Just immediately, the little girl immediately saw the anomaly that this man is smoking. And then the Goswamiji is trying to, hide it. So such Brahmins we have in Kali Yuga. That, so this sacrifice is gone. Even, our Christian friends will argue, well, Jesus ate meat. Well, yeah, okay, you go look at what kind of sacrifice you had to do according to the Old Testament scripture. And really, all right, we'll permit that. You perform that sacrifice. You build your altar so many cubits by so many cubits, and you kill the animal by some ritualistic process, and you sprinkle blood all over the congregation according to the ritualistic requirements, and then you eat. Or you offer a goat to Goddess Kali, then you eat. For those who insist on this bloody business, all right, you do that. But don't make it that, this is our religion to have huge slaughterhouses and kill animals wholesale. Jesus ate meat. Yeah, Jesus ate fish. What is that? Jesus was out in the wilderness practically, and so many thousands of people had followed him. So they were out there and so many days, and they weren't eating anything. There was no food. So the word was brought to Jesus that people have no food. No, there must be something. You look. No, we've looked. There's nothing. No, look again. Yes, we looked through everywhere. We found 5 loaves of bread and 5 fish. All right, you take that and you feed everyone with that. And lo and behold, the multitudes were fed with 5 loaves and 5 fish. All right, if you do that, we have no problem. But now you've made it that Jesus has come to earth to bless your tuna fish factory. What is your God consciousness? Just so you can see all these poor fish flapping and stinking up every place and brought to your wet markets for the spread of coronavirus, and with the ecological imbalance created in the rivers and the oceans. What is that for your big industries? No, hold a sacrifice according to whatever your religion is. And, once in a blue moon, you kill a few animals. We'll deal with that later. But not that this is a way of life that we just chomp into. Therefore, Lord Buddha came to stop this business. Krishna came as Buddha, that you stop in the name of sacrifice, now you're having regular killing of animals. All right, forget these Vedas, forget these sacrifice, just be nonviolent. Ahimsa. So, of course, then it had to be corrected from the other side. But that's the idea, that these things should not be going on in the name of religious principles. That's Kali. Kali comes in and says, this is our religion, to have tuna fish factories and McDonald's and all of this. This is the American way of life. No, you're a rogue. That's all. You get out. That's leadership. That's God-conscious leadership. Not that this is our American way of life, gambling, intoxicants, meat eating, illicit sex. No, American life means God consciousness. In God we trust. And we want leaders who are, as Prabhupada said, purified leaders. We interrogate your candidates. Gambling, no. Meat eating, no. Illicit sex, no. Intoxicants, no. All right, then you can stand for office. Otherwise, you're a Shudra. Why should you be the head of state? You're an uncultured rogue. Not that we want womanizers, drunkards, gamblers as the head of our state. You should be driven out. Okay, the questions have multiplied here. Let's see what we've got. Related to Prabhupada saying that if the demons oppose Lord Chaitanya's movement, it is due to feeling themselves threatened by a truly intimidating power. My question, Vijay Krishna, is, in terms of devotional etiquette, how should a devotee deal with all sorts of opposition? Humility? Of course, that's a sort of a general question, how we deal with humility, yes, but power also. The Brahmins should be humble, and the Kshatriyas should be intolerant of transgressions. People should be afraid to peddle these things because the government will be so strong. Not that the king is supposed to be humble and deal with all sorts of opposition by saying, excuse me, but do you think it would be better if, no, it should be strong. Being that we are currently in Kali Yuga and as devotees, we know that society will continue to degrade. Should we spend much effort in trying to fight this inevitable conclusion? Should we maybe work on an intimate, personal level to the people in our close circles? No, we should spend as much effort as we can trying to fight this inevitable conclusion and expand our circles. If Prabhupada had stayed in the close circle, none of us would be here. None of us would be on this call right now. But Prabhupada, he said, even when there's the rain is inevitable, still you take an umbrella. Still, it's our duty. It may be inevitable, but still we will fight them off as long as we can. Not that we just say, well, it's inevitable, it's inevitable. So we taught all this viciousness and degradation is inevitable. So then even your intimate personal level, personal circles will not be safe. That question came up on the call yesterday with Devakinandan Prabhu, that about the slaughterhouse education. Do you think that you can have a society, dominated by uh, illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, intoxication, and then your close little circle is going to send your kids to those places, and everything will be fine? Or you don't send them, but they're surrounded by the products of that kind of culture, and everything will be fine. If you work that way, I'm just going to see to the safety and welfare of my intimate personal circle. Even your intimate personal circle will go to hell. So Lord Chaitanya's movement is Amar Agyay Guru Hat Tare Desh Jayadvaita Tare Kaho Krishna Pradesh. Vigorous distribution of the holy name of Krishna, the message of Krishna, not just that we work on our own little corner and say, well, the rest of the world's going to go to hell. Inevitable. No, that wasn't Prabhupada's spirit at all. Or Lord Chaitanya's. Can you provide some renewed guidance on Yukta Vairagya? Devotees in the Krishna path knowingly or unknowingly go after opulent houses, work for organizations that are anti-KC, invest indirectly in such and so on. Can you share how we should balance in this capitalist corporate world? We're going a little far afield, I'm afraid, with that question. I don't mind it. Oh, I see. It was a private question anyway. It's a little far afield. Yes, I could talk about Yukta Vairagya and opulent house. Let's leave that for another class because we're on a rather particular topic here, if that's all right. I had a few questions. One, how is the cow a representation of Brahminical culture? First of all, the cows, just by their nature, the cow is not a tiger. Cows are gentle. Cows are, just the presence of cows. When you have a cow in your family, a cow in your neighborhood, the cow itself is part of like trees, flowers, fruits, vegetables. These things lead to a calm, peaceful way of life. Prabhupada poetically describes in the first canto how the cow and the calf are so pleasing to see. So just having these being surrounded by such animals who are nicely treated and so on, with their neck bells ringing and being milked in the evening, and that itself, instead of having them hidden away in some vicious immense industrial packing plants, they promote a Brahminical way of life just by their very presence. That's the first thing. Second thing, they're dear to Krishna. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanahitaya Cha. Krishna is the well-wisher of the cows, and therefore when we protect the cows, we please Krishna. Therefore, this is one of the businesses of the Brahmins, to see that the cows are happily living. Then the Vedic culture means sacrifice, for which ghee is required. It means sacrifice and grains, ghee and grains. Your grains were also produced with the help of the cow and the bull. Then for our own selves, milk products, instead of all the nasty unmentionable things, milk products, ghee, yogurt, butter, milk. These are an integral part of Brahminical culture. So the cow is a factual representation of Brahminical culture, and a Brahminical culture is a culture that protects the cows, just as what is that? Yatranaryastu pujante ramante tatra devata. Where women are protected, there the demigods enjoy. So that's another representation of Brahminical culture, that women are protected, women are honored. What is this? What kind of culture do we have where women are exploited, prostituted, uh, misused, abused, sent to universities to be whored? No. Then so many things. You see a culture where the women are honored. Now we're talking about a culture. Culture means the women are honored because the cow is the mother, the woman is the mother, the earth is the mother. So now you're talking civilization. The women are honored, the cows are protected, sinful activities are driven out. So the cow is an integral part of that culture. Did animal killing, animal slaughter for sense gratification versus rituals exist in other yugas, only Kali Yuga? Only Kali Yuga. Did it exist in all yugas as demons and demonic activities existed, but just more pronounced? I haven't read anywhere in Bhagavatam that in previous yugas they were killing cows. They were meat eaters, but animal slaughter, especially cow slaughter, industrialized animal slaughter, no. Because these things are products of ignorance which flourish in Kali Yuga. In previous yugas, we didn't see these things. Maybe some, even what to speak of previous yugas. In India, you didn't see this kind of wholesale, open animal slaughter, cow killing. 200 years ago, 300 years ago, it was out of the question. Just with degradation, these things have come. Does animal slaughter exist on other planets? For example, in the demigods, heavenly planets? No, not in the heavenly planets. Maybe the hellish planets. The demigods, you can't imagine. Even you've seen the picture sometimes that the cow is the representation of the demigods. Various parts of the body of the cow represent the demigods, or the demigods are represented there. No, how could no demigod, Vishnu Bhakta, Smrita Daiva. The demigods are all devotees of Vishnu. They can't possibly engage in such things. Even when Bhumi, when the earth was feeling overburdened, she took the form of a cow to invoke the sympathy of Lord Brahma. The demigods are all, they honor women, they honor the cow. Not that demigods are slaughtering animals. No, out of the question. What is your opinion about industrial revolution, last 100 years, which has been polluting the environment multiple ways? There are pros and cons. We should have another revolution and overturn the industrial one. That Yadvag Visargo Vinatagla Viplavo. What are the pros? What are the pros? That people have become more God conscious, people are becoming free from birth and death. Industrial revolution? Think about like New York City. When go back, 400 years ago? Go back to the time of Columbus, or go back not that far. Manhattan Island was gorgeous. You can't find that kind of real estate anywhere these days. Well, the rich people can live in such in small samples of that kind of place, but forests and birds and fresh air, and you put your hand in the river and drink. A beautiful island. The kind of place that you'd pay big money to go on vacation to for a week or so. Whole of Manhattan Island was like that. And what is it now? The Hudson's so polluted that you dare not put your hand in it. The air is polluted. The whole sounds are what's the word? Disturbing, always to the mind. The whole and vicious, a vicious way of life. Times Square. How is that an improvement? So, all right, now we have refrigerators, we have this, we have that, but it hasn't really advanced the civilization that we can and what kind of people used to have work that was meaningful, that they were proud of. Now they're on an assembly line, stamping out something, stamping out something, stamping out something, or promoting the sale of such products. What are the pros for the Industrial Revolution? People have become, we're more comfortable, supposedly. I don't get it, actually. If you want to come back, Sudarshan, and say what the pros are, you're welcome. But as a quick follow-up, you mentioned taking milk and milk products are part of Brahminical culture. Would you still suggest we take milk products, even though the American milk cow industry is the way it is now? I heard there are Swamis who take milk while in India, but decide to be vegan while in the US. Thank you. You can read my article on my website, jswami.info, called Introducing Ahimsa Balancing. That presents an alternative for Swamis or all devotees, by which the viciousness of the milk industry can be recognized, and one can take a stand against it, not just by boycotting it, but by contributing to the Krishna conscious farm communities. I won't give the whole logic here, but take a look at the article, and it speaks to these things. Related to Vijay. Oh, it's also BT in BTG. Match $1 to $1. Okay, thank you. Yes, it was published in BTG. I never got a copy somehow, but it was published there. We're at 8:59. Are there any other questions or points to be made before we sign off? We went the whole time and on these topics, but they're good topics. Anyone else want to say something before we disperse?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj, for just the candid, very direct, thought-provoking explanation of our current society and situation. Really, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nilamani Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All right, we're at 9, and we're allowed to stop on time.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. So just some announcements for those who missed it earlier on when we started. Tomorrow evening, same time, 8 p.m., we'll have Amarendra Prabhu, Amarendra Das. He'll be addressing us from Atlanta, and he'll be talking on the topic of glories of Gadadhar Pandit. And then on Friday again, we'll continue this topic of the first canto with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. And then on Saturday, we got two programs on this Saturday. 1 p.m., His Holiness Sachinandana Swami will be addressing us from Germany. And at 8 p.m., His Grace Gauranga Prabhu who will be talking on the topic of climbing the determination ladder, lessons from Dhruva Maharaj. So some very nice topics coming up, and His Holiness Sachinandana Swami, his topic is every crisis has an opportunity within it. So all kinds of interesting topics. So tomorrow 8 p.m., Friday 8 p.m., Saturday we got 2 of them, 1 p.m. with Sachinandana Swami and 8 p.m. with Gauranga Prabhu. So please make a note, same channel. So looking forward to seeing you all there. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Thank you,
Rama
Maharaj.
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare